Welcome to Faith Fuel. Take a pit stop so your faith can be fuel for your journey. This week I've been listening to the alternative broadcast. That's Dr. Tony Evans' organization, and I've been listening to it on podcast. And this week they're playing sermons that Dr. Evans preached on Nehemiah. God has been revealing a lot to me in this series, but the Holy Spirit convicted me specifically in one area. And that area is planning for something that you have faith for. Nehemiah, when he went to the king to request that he let him go back to Judah so that he could rebuild Jerusalem and rebuild the city, the king gave him his blessing and also gave him some of the resources that he asked for. So Nehemiah up and went. And straight up, they got there and got to work. But here's the thing. When God sent Nehemiah on this mission, before Nehemiah knew that the king would grant him access to leave and give him some of the materials, Nehemiah came up with a plan for when the king let him go and the king would give him materials. So he didn't have to scramble around and figure out what to do with this newfound blessing that the king gave him and with this time and with these materials, because he already had it written down. Even though he did not know that the king was going to grant him this. When God tells us to do something, or when we have faith that God is going to do something in our lives, it's not for us to sit and wait till we see God act, because that's not really faith. That's hope. You hoping God's going to do something, but faith is that hope in action. We ought to be planning for the things that we're expecting from God. And if you don't get what you're expecting from God, but you have this plan, God won't let it all go to waste. There's still a reason that you did it. But if you don't do nothing, what do you think is going to happen? If God tells you to build a school, you don't sit there and wait until you get the resources to start drawing up the blueprint for the school. You draw out the blueprint for whenever you'll have the resources to build that school. If God tells you He's going to send you a partner, you don't just sit there and wait for the right person to walk by. You prepare yourself. You treat things like you're going to have somebody in your life. You talk to people. You meet people. Not saying that the people you meet, and one of them is going to be the person that God sends for you. But if you're not warmed up to speaking to people and introducing yourself and building those relationships, then how you think you're going to build a relationship with the person that God sends you? If you're trusting God for employment, you don't just sit there and wait for somebody to throw a job at you. You fill out applications. You update your resume. You get everything in line, build relationships so that you can be ready for when it happens. Do not wait for the evidence to start planning. Be in deep prayer and plan before you see any evidence whatsoever that what you believe will come into fruition. Because if you're walking in the wrong direction, God can turn you in the right direction, so then you'll be walking in the right direction. But if you're standing in the wrong direction, even if God turns you toward the right direction, you're still standing. You'll be in the same spot until you start walking. And whatever you trust in God for is not just going to fall out the sky because you trusted God and sat there. Get to work, get moving, get up, get active, start planning. And stay in deep prayer and stay in the Word. Don't just believe God in your head. Show God that you believe Him by starting to move. And never forget to count your blessings. That's it. I love you. Good night.